You've got New York City, baby, in the 90s.
So I'm here now with two people from Draw Distance, Polish indie developer. And maybe you two can introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Jacek Głowacki, and I'm the head of business development at Draw Distance.
Hi, everyone. My name is Krzysztof Szczudłowski, and I'm vision holder and lead designer on serial cleaners.
Jacek and Krzysztof, so nice to have you both here. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us. Wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Nice to be here.
So your current game is Serial Cleaners, which is in development at the moment, and stealth action game. Maybe you two could describe a scene for us so we can kind of imagine it. Like, what do we see? What do we hear? What's the feeling of the game?
Okay, you play as one of the four characters. You usually arrive at the scene, and then your task is to clean all the evidence, all the bodies on the scene, and clean the blood, because you are working as a serial cleaner, as a cleaner for a mob hired to do that stuff. You can do it always in a few ways, because we don't want to give you puzzles to solve. We want to give you problems to solve and then tools to solve them. You can sneak around, you can run around, you can use many objects that are on scenes to interact with environment, and especially with cops, who usually are on the scene and are trying to protect all the things that are laying around. So you are sneaking around, you are using sound objects, you are moving objects to distract enemies, and slowly cleaning the whole scene.
What objects can you use?
Right now, we have like around 50 mechanics connected with all those environmental objects. So it mostly depends which character you are playing, because each character has a different play style and does the cleaning in different way. They use the same sets of the basic moves. So they all crouch, they all sprint, they pick up bodies and do things like that. But for example, Bob is like the main character from the first game. Bob is back here in the sequel, and he is like this all-around character. He can do a bit of everything, but his specialty is that he can slide on the blood. In the first game, we could only pick up objects, pick up body bags, pick up bodies. Right now, we can also drag them around. You always have minimum two options to do some things. You can use Bob to hide a body in the body bag. Then you can pick it up and move around the scene, and police will not notice you if you will be in the public area. And you can also drag bodies, and all those bodies will leave the blood stain on the ground. But Bob is from 70s. He knows his tricks from 70s, so he can slide very cool on the blood, and he doesn't make sound then. And he's quite quick, and he can do that with a body bag. So the player has to think what he has to do with all those options. That maybe he wants to put the body into the bag and run around with it and doesn't leave any bloodstains on the ground. Maybe he can use one body to leave big bloodstain and then to slide on it with other bodies. And this is the first character, yes? And so we have three other characters, and one is Psycho, who uses chainsaw because he's ex-mafia guy, and he's quite brutal and brute force. He doesn't kill now because he's a good guy now. He only uses his chainsaw to chop bodies, and occasionally throws limbs at police to knock them out. He can then pick up a police as a body and put it in some place it's easier that way when you remove some policemen from the scene.
Yeah, he's a real angel now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. yeah, that's true. But for example, he doesn't have any body bags. He doesn't bother with stuff like that. So he only picks bodies, and when he runs around with a body on his shoulder, he is always police will always notice him. So we have also Viper, our hacker character. She is not strong enough to pick up bodies, and she only can drag them. She also uses body bags, so she can spend some more time to put the body into the bag and move it around that and not leaving bloodstains. But she's also a very skilled hacker, and she can hack different objects like computers or some electrical stuff and remotely remotely interact with electronical objects around the scene. So she can turn on some radio, she can turn off some light on the scene. She's a bit like a wizard in our pack, and she can do her magic to distract enemies, to plan her distractions, and to use a few objects at the same time to distract a bigger group of enemies to have a space to do the cleaning. So that's Viper, and we have Lati. Lati is the most agile character in our games. She's when we build maps for Lati, we always make sure that they are vertical and have a lot of options to move around. So Lati is much stronger than Viper. She can pick up bodies, she can drag bodies, and she can run around the maps and use ways of moving that other characters can't. So she climbs on the walls. She jumps from higher, and that's Lati. We really put a lot of emphasis on making those maps really interesting and vertical. So that's pretty cool.
Sounds great. How bloody is the game?
It's really bloody. It's really bloody, but we have this art style that is it's stylized and so yeah, it is bloody. We on the one of the first map that we are getting to know the Psycho character. The first map is inspired by movie Fargo, and this is timed when Psycho was really a psycho and he was killing people. So he's at this panic mode around so remote cabin, and he's trying to dispose all the bodies around the scene. So he picks up his chainsaw for the first time, starts to chopping all the bodies because there is this special object. I don't know how to call it in English. Maybe Jacek or someone. There's this wood chopper, probably.
Yeah, wood chopping machine. Yeah.
That was in the scene in the Fargo. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember.
One of the character, used wood chopper to dispose of the bodies, and that's what Psycho does as well in the game. So and it's a lot of blood around, and then Bob, our main character from the first game, comes around and has to vacuum it all. And people always ask us why vacuum doesn't clean the snow from the scene, because it's a game. This is how it works.
Very bloody, so people need to be ready for that game.
Definitely, yeah. But remember, we don't kill people. We only clean after murder scenes. So we are the good guys, right?
And sometimes chop the corpses.
Yeah. But they are dead already.
Yeah, they are already dead, so yeah, no problem.
The setting is the 90s. Why did you choose it?
Because we made the first game and it was set in the 70s, and we wanted
so serial cleaner.
Yes, without S. Yeah, so serial cleaner, and even when we were making the first game, we didn't want to make 80s game, because already then in 2017, 2016, there was a lot of those games, and they have very, very samey art style ideas about how 80s looked, and we didn't want to do more of the same, and we were aware that a lot of people love this and love their pink neons and synthwave, and we didn't want to do something that people won't like, because it's not like everything they like. So we went into the 70s then, and when we started thinking about the sequel, we thought that we want to do something original, something that we can't find in many games around right now. So we decided to go with 90s, and we also always thought that it's a great narrative device, because we wanted to make a sequel. We wanted to continue the story of the Bob Cleaner, but right now there is a gap, 10 years gap 10 years in his life. When you will start the game, there's this big questions. One, what happened after the first game? What happened with Bob? What happened with his mother? And the important character in the first game. And we wanted to have this mystery in the game.
Okay, so you reveal the story then, what happened the 10 years
Maybe, probably. We- yeah, because very important thing, the whole game, the sequel, the Serial Cleaners is set in the 99 in New York City, and Bob is working is like a master of this group of cleaners, and they're meeting in the funeral house to to celebrate New Year's Eve, to spend some time with friends, to reminisce about the whole 90s and what they done, their bloodiest jobs that take place in the carefree 90s, and they are talking about that. And the like the first game, we always between missions we were getting back to the home of Bob. In the Serial Cleaners, we were getting back into the funeral house during this one night, during this big conversation that the whole crew has, and each mission will be a story from the past about some very important mission, and you will always play one character telling their story. So that's the whole idea for the game. And yeah, and we are planning also some flashbacks that will show what happened in 80s and other stuff that I won't spoiler out now.
No, sure. And the characters, you play them one after another, or can you
actually
change them?
Sure. The structure in the game is that we have 5 chapters. Each chapter has 4 missions, and we always start a chapter with Bob's mission, with the main character's mission, and then the players can choose one of the other 3 characters, and they can choose in which order they will play their missions.
Okay, so after you finish the chapter with Bob, then you can play it again with another character like this?
No. In one chapter, Bob is telling his story first, and then ask other characters who want to tell the story next. And you can choose one of the 3 characters. Then one character is saying their story, then you have 2 characters left to choose in the next segment. So after the chapter that you finished all the 4 missions, you start next chapter with Bob telling his story again, and then you can choose other characters.
And gameplay-wise, so it's like stealth action. So you always have to clean up this one place, and you have to be as stealthy as possible, right?
Actually, you don't have to be stealthy as possible. You can choose what you want to do. That's the very basic idea behind our game and our philosophy. We were talking about first game we were talking about stealth action game. Right now we don't. So the second game, fast-paced stealth action game. That was the whole thing, and that's something that we are very proud of, and we are continuing out and building up on. You can actually run around, throw things at people, and be very noisy, and you will still be able to play the game. But each character has a bit different set of skills. So when you play Bob, it's easy to play aggressively, and it's easy to play more sneaky. When you're playing Psycho, it's much more easier to throw things around, and when you are playing Viper, it's much more easier to be a sneaky character. But you still can choose, even playing each of this character, you can still choose your approach to the missions. And what we are working actually right now very hard is on its AI. So even when you are playing very, very noisy and you are using a lot of distraction, we really want the AI to be more aggressive. So you will be feeling that maybe next time I will try the sneaky approach, or maybe for some time I will try the sneaky approach. We are in this way very inspired by games of Arcane Studio. So the way that Dishonored series work or Deathloop right now, that's perfect example where you can play sneaky but you can shoot at everything and it's still fun. It's your decision, and we will try to make it fun playing the both playstyle.
Can you also tell us the difference between now your current game Serial Cleaners and your first game Serial Cleaner from 2017? How do these games differ from each other?
The first game we made it in 2016. We started production then, and we were just a company that just was making mobile games then. And we had a lot of this mobile process of thinking about games and making games. And we really tried to develop and to do something new and to start to do bigger things. But when you are playing the Serial Cleaner one right now, you can see that it's the gameplay is very basic. It's very thin, I would say. During that time, we made a few games. We made narrative games with our vampires games, and we made an arcade game called Ritual, and we got a lot of experience doing that. And right now, when we started making Serial Cleaners, we just try to we don't want to invent the wheel again. We don't want to break completely formula and do something completely new. We just wanted to make it deeper, add everything that we can add. So in the first game, AI was quite always AI was undercooked. So right now we really spend a lot of time to develop much more believable AI with much more reactive AI. We added a lot of more interactions with objects. We added 4 characters, and in the first game it was only Bob. One of the most important things that I probably should say at the beginning is that we moved from 2D to 3D, which was a big jump for us, and even it wasn't that we moved to 3D and then decided to add verticality to our game that is connected with how AI is working and all that stuff. So we really challenged ourselves with that game to a lot of new things that we have never done. And yeah, we had much more. Yeah, everything is, we have a lot deeper. Each mechanic, each thing in the game is much more deeper than in the first one.
Okay, cool. Are there also other things you learned from the 2017 Serial Cleaner?
Actually, that was our process when we started making sequel, was to read all the reviews. So we went through the whole Steam reviews. We found all the reviews on the sites, and we're reading a lot about what people liked, what they didn't like. Yeah. So we it's hard to distill it in a few. We knew that we have to make much more deeper game, and we need to add a lot of more variety to mechanics, and a lot of variety to the whole gameplay. So that's why we decided to have 4 characters, to have different play styles with those characters. And yeah, we are working right now actually on adding all story-oriented things. So with our experience from vampire games, we're adding branching dialogues into this game. So the story is really important also in the Serial Cleaners, and people will be able to choose different dialogue options, and it will be important in some part of the game.
Nice. Okay. With what games can Serial Cleaners be compared to? Like, who will most likely have fun playing this game?
That's a great question. Yeah, because it's really there are not a lot of games about cleaning, and if there are, they play completely differently. So I would say people who
I can't
enjoy
think of any games.
It's Viscera Cleanup Detail. I believe it is
Yeah,
about cleaning.
exactly.
It's FPS game, co-op FPS game. So I think people that enjoyed Hotline Miami would for sure enjoy our game, because how we treat our era, because of our art style, and because that it's not shooting at people, but with this one, with Serial Cleaners, you can play really aggressively, and it's the gameplay is much more dynamic if you choose to. So I would recommend it. People who enjoy stealth games, and especially people who enjoy immersive sims. The stealth component of immersive sims, I should say, because we are really inspired by those games, and we are making this light version of those games if it comes to the basic game loop. And yes, what are Hitman series? People who enjoyed the newest Hitman series, I think would really enjoy our game. It's also this smaller, light version of the Hitman games. So if you don't have so much time to play these big, huge maps of Hitman, and you want something a bit quicker and simpler, but not very simple, the serial cleaners will be a great choice as well.
Okay, that definitely sounds like something for me, because I really like a Hitman, but yeah, the levels are sometimes too big. There's so many things you can do that I don't know. I just want to get to the exit at some point. So yeah, sounds great. Like something for me.
We are trying to make espresso version of Hitman. So you have this quick shot and we'll be happy.
So release is planned 2022.
That's right.
On how many things do we still need to work? Like, how is development going?
Oh, a lot. Still a lot. But the main things that we are focusing right now is tweaking AI and adding a few layers. Still adding a few layers to AI. So we really work hard on that. We are right now very focused also on our all story-oriented things. That we're adding this funeral house section, all the dialogues and all the options, animations and things like that. And right now we finished all the maps in the game, so we have the whole game playable in some way. And right now we are balancing everything, adding missing components and things like that. So there's still a lot of work to do, but we can see the finish line already. So it's making us happy.
About your studio, how was Draw Distance founded? You also had a different name before, iFun for All, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is my part. I'll take it from here. So yeah, absolutely. Draw Distance has been founded in 2009 under the name iFun for All. And actually it was founded by Bluebird Team, the game development studio, also from Krakow, Poland. You can remember from projects such as Layers of Fear, The Medium, or Blair Witch. So they are generally speaking creators of psychological horrors, and very good ones as well. Back in 2009, they wanted to expand into the mobile market, and they thought that they would simply start a new studio to dig into the subject, basically, and work on those mobile titles. And that's how iFun for All has been founded back in 2009. Then
mobile wasn't so cool anymore. Why did you change, and why did you call yourself Draw Distance then?
Yeah, I mean, for a few years, we were focused on working on mostly premium mobile games, especially for iOS, that were later ported as well. We did some work for hire as well, especially porting. And I think that was a great experience for us, because in terms of the organizational culture and our legacy as a studio, we really got the chance to work on so many different platforms, including some more exotic ones for Polish studios, such as Apple TV, for example, right? Or even the PSP back then. So that gave us a lot of know-how, I would say, and I think eased the process of porting our contemporary titles to many different platforms. So I think that experience really was great for us. But in 2016, the management has changed. The new CEO has arrived, and he simply decided that it's time to switch focus from mobile and work for hire projects to PC and home consoles, basically. And then we started working on the first serial cleaner.
Why did the management decide that? Why did you want to change from mobile to PC and console?
I think that the new management was simply more keen on delivering projects on platforms they had experience with, really. And market-wise, mobile premium is hard. But for creating successful free-to-play mobile titles, you really need to have a lot of experience and great specialists on the topic on board. We were mainly fans of PC and console titles. So in general, we all decided that maybe it's the best direction we should take from now on, and to start exploring those opportunities more.
The whole team also wanted to do that. It was something that a lot of people were tired with making mobile games and wanted something much bigger and much more ambitious. So that was like everything aligned nicely.
Yeah, so we all agreed with the new CEO. By the way, our CEO is Michał Mielcarek, and Michał Mielcarek is a guy who has a huge experience as a gaming journalist. Basically, he used to be an editor-in-chief of one of the most important media outlets in Poland, and he has great experience, as a reviewer as well, especially when it comes to PC and consoles, even more consoles, I would say, because he's a huge fan of From Software games. So PlayStation was always, I think, his priority platform, I would say. That's why this whole philosophy of this change came from, basically.
I think it's great. I personally like PC and console games more than mobile games, so I think the change is great.
Yeah, I mean, mobile is hard. Gee, it's so hard. I mean, you need so many different skills in terms of business and marketing than you need on PC and consoles. And I'm not saying that PC and console market is easy, but I think it's definitely less chaotic, more stable in terms of trends, in terms of KPIs. I can call them like that, comparing to mobile. So I'm very grateful to the new management that we decided to move in this direction, and we stick to it for all those years.
Yeah, I also think like mobile games, there's so many of them, and you gotta choose if you want to make a free-to-play, which is even more games, and I don't know, like premium games is something I like better than free-to-play games, but I think more people go rather to free-to-play because they can check it out without paying. And yeah, I think it's a very difficult market. That's what it sounds to me.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Why did you call yourself Draw Distance?
That was a process. The process of rebranding took us some time because obviously when we moved away from the mobile market and this first letter I in iPhone for All in general was to show people that we have something in common with the mobile market. But when we moved away from it, we embraced this new philosophy of development. We thought that such a change also needs the rebranding, basically. But it takes time because it was a very democratic process, and every employee had a chance to of course, express his view on the matter and his ideas, etc., etc. So I cannot count how many new propositions we came up with. Basically, I would say that hundreds, probably during that time. All in all, Draw Distance won as a proposition. I think it's a good name. I think it's a technical name first of all, but also deep. It means something to me personally. I think it's a good name for a studio that moves from the indie segment of the market to maybe more AA, I would say, because this is definitely one of our ambitions that we're looking forward to executing.
So I'm glad I caught you now. For our indie show, because if you want to go AA, then you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the strategic goals, I think.
Okay. So Draw Distance has to do something with the render distance, right?
Right.
I'm not a technical person, so I like the name.
Right. You can usually set up draw distance in a game, so can decide how many things will be rendered at the time.
So that's where the name comes from.
That's as far as I, as far as I understand it, because I also not a programmer and technical guy. But yeah, so we can choose the draw distance in the games, and we usually try to draw distance for ourselves and to do much more ambitious things and to render more and more.
besides the Serial Cleaner series, what other games did you make so far?
Yeah, so basically after Serial Cleaner and porting the game to Nintendo Switch, that was our debut, fall 2017 on Switch, and Switch immediately appeared one of the priority consoles for us because we have achieved a great success with Serial Cleaner on this particular console. We've been always a little torn between original ideas that we always wanted to make and execute, and business opportunities that appeared on the horizon, and they were just too good to let down, right? So we've been doing very different titles, such as House of Horror, for example. House of Horror is very unique because it was a multiplayer game created exclusively for Mixer, and Mixer was a streaming platform managed by and owned by Microsoft, planned to be a true competitor for Twitch, with some extra options, such as the ability to actually play game when it's streamed. So that was very new. And we managed to sign a great contract with Microsoft as one of only 13 studios around the world, and obviously the only Polish one. And we've created this game. Initially it was very popular, one of the most popular games on Mixer, with more than 1 million unique users per week. That was awesome. We were very heavily featured on Mixer. But then, as this Mixer family, let's call it like that, we had calls, we had meetings. All of us started noticing that Mixer is not exactly developing the way it was supposed to. And we tried to figure out some ideas to maybe make it more popular. And I remember we had this idea that maybe we can start making games based on very strong IPs. And the very brand would bring people on board to try to experience Mixer. And when they experience Mixer, they will want to stay on this platform. And we started researching the market, and we figured out that, well, we really enjoy World of Darkness as tabletop RPG players. Lots of us played World of Darkness, especially Vampire the Masquerade games, in the past. And I remember going to E3 2017 or 18, something like that. And I noticed that Tobias Sjögren is available. And at that time, Tobias Sjögren was the CEO of White Wolf Publishing, basically a company that was already owned by Paradox Interactive. But Tobias was still the head of the publishing firm. So we had a meeting. I told him about Mixer, about how we wanted to change, what's the opportunity here, and he was very happy. We agreed that we're going to work on a document, some high level concept of the game that could potentially land on Mixer and be connected with Vampire the Masquerade brand. We had some conversations coming back and forth. Finally, we had a meeting with Paradox guys. They liked the concept. At this time, Mixer was pretty much no more. So we couldn't really execute the idea to bring World of Darkness to Mixer. But because the idea created by Chris, the lead game designer behind Vampire the Masquerade titles at our studio, was really spot on, Paradox said that, hey, maybe we can just, work together on a more traditional basis, right? Just make a playable demo, show us the pitch, and maybe we can support it on PC and consoles. And we did exactly that. They really liked the concept, and that's how Coteries of New York was made. And because it was a success, we consider it as a success, and Paradox too. We decided to work on a standalone expansion, Shadows of New York. Between Halls of Horror and Mixer and Coteries of New York, there was also Ritual Crown of Horns, title published globally by Fear Damic. Krzysztof has already mentioned it. It was a very important game for us because, first of all, it was our first game that really explored the 3D as visual layer. Plus, it was our first game with combat involved. So you had the chance to experience shooting. That was the first time in our history that you could actually shoot two people rather monsters, I would say, because in Ritual Crown of Horns you fight with waves of monsters from hell, basically. But yeah, this really taught us a lot, and I think that was also the experience that brings great results today and will bring in the future. And yeah, after that, after those two Vampire the Masquerade titles, we and Paradox sat down and thought, what can we do together in the future? We agreed on a project, and it's codenamed Project Cardinal. It's based on one of Paradox's IPs. We cannot, unfortunately, share any more details. Hopefully it will happen in the future, of course. And we started working on Serial Cleaners back at the beginning of 2020. Right now, the game has a global publisher. It's 505 Games, one of the most renowned, I think, publishers out there. So we're very happy about this cooperation. We look forward into it. So it's awesome. We're also working on Project Swan. It's also a code name with a great publisher as well. Unfortunately, in this case, I can share even less details than comparing to Project Cardinal. But yeah, I mean, we've got lots of things to do. We have several projects on our hands. So yeah. We are not bored, definitely.
Well, it sounds like it. So not only Serial Cleaners, but also two other projects in the pipeline, which are coming soon. So wow, yeah, that sounds exciting. It's great that business is going, but I can imagine it's a lot of work.
Exactly, of course, yeah, it is. Yeah.
I saw on your website that you also publish games. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we have been experimenting a little bit. We tried to start publishing third-party titles, but I think it simply happened too early. We definitely weren't prepared. We have published one game. It's called Midnight Evil. It's made by an amazing American developer, Nate Sanders, and his studio, Impulse Game Studios. Midnight Evil was available on Steam, and Nate was looking for an opportunity to bring it to other platforms. So we have become the global publisher of Midnight Evil on Switch. There was a period of time when we focused more heavily on providing porting services to other publishers and companies. But pretty much because of the great work made by our developers and the fact that all the titles they've been working on have appeared to be successful pretty much, we simply decided that we have to focus more on our own projects or those licensed titles such as Project Cardinal, right? By the way, with games where we work on with Paradox Interactive, we still decide most of the things in terms of the gameplay mechanics, story, etc., etc. So we are we enjoy this artistic freedom, but obviously, if the game is licensed, we have to follow certain guidelines, obviously. So this is also a challenge, and I'm very happy that we're getting more and more experience in this area as well, because this is something very unique and different than just developing a game.
I don't know, is that a disadvantage that you can't be as free as you want to be?
Well, I'm sure it is. Slightly, I would say. It's definitely a slight disadvantage because you're not 100% independent in terms of your choices connected with the game itself, its shape and how it plays, basically. But on the other hand, it's a plus because it immediately gives you a certain structure that you can fit into. So it draws certain borders. It helps you think, well, maybe not within a box, but within a very large area that you can explore for yourself. That's how I would call that. But yeah, definitely it limits your freedom of making choices, that's for sure. And it's also extra challenging because you have to think about lots and lots of things connected with the fact that it's a license and it has guidelines and it has a lore and a fandom, etc., etc. And then you have to keep true to the general nature of the brand and to what it means to millions of players around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Whoa, that's definitely a challenge. But as you said, definitely a good experience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you already said that you have some publishers which support you. Do you also get funding in Poland?
Yeah, I mean, it's very Polish that game development studios are public, basically. So many studios that are involved in game development and publishing are public. They're moving to the market. There is a special alternative market called New Connect, created specifically for technical startups and game development studios. It's much more lenient in terms of discipline and procedures comparing to the main market here in Poland, in Warsaw. So this is a great opportunity, and this is a great chance to strengthen the studio while also learning how to be more disciplined in terms of communication, in terms of working on your balance, of course, on your reports, on documents, on this whole administrative side. That is dull, of course. It is boring. It is not, what you think of when you're thinking, hey, let's make a video game, basically. But it's necessary for the studio to grow, obviously. So the fact that we have both institutional and individual investors, we are engaged in the whole process of proper communicating and talking to the market and with investors, etc., etc. It also contributes to the general organizational structure of the company and increases its growth and the way the studio grows.
Is that some kind of program then?
I mean, the market is the market, of course. If you're good enough to be able to find investors, then you can enjoy funds. But on the other hand, of course, the Polish government in general supports game development studios with several different programs that you can take advantage on and bring funds to the company. I think the most important one is called Game In. Game In is specifically a research and development program. So you do not spend money from the program on the game's development directly, but you rather figure out a technology or a technological solution that can be implemented in your product or even sold commercially, basically outside the studio. And basically the process of creating this particular technology is funded through this program. But it obviously helps you, it obviously helps you in the development because you're thinking what's best for the games you're creating in terms of what this technology or this technological solution should be.
Like, for instance, developing better AIs or stuff like that.
Yeah, for example, some technological solutions or plugins that would improve the AI or help you work on the AI to make the process easier. So that's one of the good cases. Yeah, examples.
We previously also talked to the Polish indie dev studio Rock Square Thunder on our show in episode number 5. We talked to the CEO, Janusz Tarczykowski. I think you probably know him, right?
Yeah, I mean, the community here usually knows each other very well. Yeah.
And he told us that it's difficult for indies, especially, to get funding in Poland. He told us 2 reasons. Like, one is there's much bureaucracy, like many documents you gotta fill out. And if you're a small team, then you don't find the time to do that. And it's also hard to convince the jury for some funding programs that your game deserves funding and stuff like that. Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely challenging. Definitely challenging. I mean, many studios every year leave with nothing when it comes to gaming because they simply do not get enough points to be qualified, and it's obviously difficult. And you have to have access to specialists who will help you with all the administrative stuff. So absolutely, I can agree that it's a difficult process. And when it comes to the market and finding investors, it's also a challenge, of course, because the market has become so much saturated with so many different studios, both on the main market and this alternative market, the new Connect that we as Draw Distance are also part of. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and very often indie developers who are first and foremost creators of games and not, businessmen or entrepreneurs or economists, lawyers, etc. They want to make games. That's their craft and that's their goal. So it can be very intimidating, just entering this whole world of all those activities that you have to do to get this funding and to persuade investors or the jury of this particular program that you deserve those funds. So yeah, I can perfectly understand and emphasize. At the same time, sometimes you just do what you have to do. I mean, it's a great opportunity, and all those chances are out there, and you can really get a good use of all those opportunities if you try hard enough. So I think it's possible, but I can perfectly agree, 100% agree that it's very challenging.
Would you still say then that Poland is great for developing games?
Yeah, I mean, for developing games, Poland is amazing, and I think it shows. I mean, I don't want to get into boring statistics other than the latest one. I mean, I've read a few days ago or a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember exactly, but I've read that Poland is already contributing to 4% of the general revenue of the whole global industry. And it's coming, we saw it coming because there are so many talented people in Poland. There are so many studios in Poland. And I mean, right now in Poland, there are more than 300 game development studios who are involved in all genres, on all platforms, indie, mobile, free-to-play, AA, AAA, everything, basically. And I know that Poland is perceived, obviously, through CD Projekt Red, of course, through Techland, through 11-bit, those biggest companies out there when it comes to PC and consoles. But there is so much more. And I think that Polish game developers are super talented, but also very well educated, especially when it comes to hard skills connected with programming, stuff like this. I mean, our competences in this area are remarkable, I would say. We also pay great attention to detail. We never give up. We never surrender. We're always looking for ways to improve the quality of our titles. We are ready to work longer, work harder, but the quality is the key. And that's why we set ourselves the bar really high. And new employees really need to, have all the exceptional skills to simply start working professionally, because the expectations are very, very high when it comes to new employees here. So yeah, I think we have a very professional approach to all the processes connected with developing games and publishing games. We are always our own fiercest critics. We always demand more from ourselves. And I think it shows, and I think that it brings great results in the long term, of course.
Is there something you would say that's definitely missing in Poland?
Well, I'm a business developer, so maybe I have maybe I have more of a unique perspective, especially comparing to Western market like German market or the French market. The main difference, I think, between the Polish market and in general the Polish industry and more developed Western European or American scenes are the facts that in Germany or in France, there are many more companies that offer services dedicated to game development. But I'm not talking about external outsourcing companies that will provide you with art, for example. But I'm talking more about services connected with marketing activities, PR, legal support, payment methods and systems, the technical support connected with creating games as a service, post-launch support, both content and non-content, etc., etc. I think that in Poland, this market of services is pretty much non-existent yet. There are a few companies that are specialists in what they do around game development, that their goal is to make the developers' lives easier in general, but I think that Polish game developers are still first and foremost focused on the technical aspects of making the game and making it the best it can be, basically, with the highest possible quality. And they tend to maybe not underestimate or forget, but simply not think of those services as something that should be treated as a priority, similar to what needs to be done to launch the game. That's my view on the situation, basically.
To sum up, Serial Cleaners is on its way. How do you feel about it? Are you excited, or do some things worry you?
Awesome! Very excited. I can't wait. Oh my god! Yeah, it's a wonderful game. It's a wonderful game with an amazing art style, great diversity of play styles, amazing story, and what I love the most about it is the atmosphere. I mean, you've got New York City, baby, in the 90s, and it's like real. I mean, we've done so much research. We love Jean-Michel Basquiat, who is the main reference when it comes to visual style of this game. And we nailed it. It's awesome. It looks wonderful. And I know I'm biased, and I probably shouldn't say all this, but I am extremely happy that we are working on this particular game. I'm even more happy that we're working on it with 505 Games. And I know it's going to be big, really big.
Krzysztof, you feel the same?
Yeah. I don't have the same enthusiasm as Jacek because I'm quite tired making it. But yeah, we are really proud of this game, and it's really ambitious project, and we put a lot of effort in everything, and a lot of thought into each part of this game. So yeah, I'm really proud, and I'm really proud of the team that are making this game, because it's something amazing. We are making amazing things each day. So yeah, I highly recommend playing it.
Absolutely.
Just last question, is there anything you want to tell indie developers who want to make games in Poland?
Choose things, genres, and styles that you really love, that you are passionate about, and try to think about something that people love as well and are interested in. Add some small twist, not so big twist, but something small, something important, and yeah, put a lot of work and passion to stand out, because there's so many games that do the same things, look the same, and each person has something magical inside of them. We should spend more time thinking what it is and trying to put it outside for other people to see and enjoy. That's my approach to the things.
Yeah, great words. Jacek, Krzysztof, thank you so much for this hour and for these insights. And it was great having you two here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.